The Nazca Lines are undoubtedly one of Earth's most perplexing ancient relics. Not only are they unimaginably big, but their accuracy still baffles all who try to explain them, even to this day. With many of these ancient drawings seemingly only visible or indeed fully appreciated from great altitude, many people over the centuries have predictably pondered upon the possibility of there having once been ancient flying machines. And although many of these ancient marks could be perceived as possibly past runways or landing sites, there exists one site in particular that possesses some of the most compelling, if little shared characteristics of them all. Known as El Fuerte, it can be found amongst a pre-Columbian archaeological site in Bolivia. It is believed that for over 1,000 years, the site served as a ceremonial center for various pre-Columbian cultures, ultimately becoming the home of the Inca, who turned the site into the east capital of their empire. We have often stated that we strongly believe that at some point within Earth's distant history, a highly advanced intercontinental civilization once flourished, building enormous stone structures. With knowledge and capabilities in stone carving and building, we, the modern man, are yet to unravel. And although the site consists of an average ancient settlement, complete with buildings, architecture, and irrigational ruins, the most intriguing feature of the site, and the purpose for the video, is what was once carved out of the solid rock atop the mountain. Along the crest of the hill is the most intriguing feature of the site, or possibly Nazca itself, known as the El Cascabel, which can be translated as the rattle. It is two parallel lines oriented to the eastern sky, with a position of azimuth at 71 degrees and an altitude of about 6.75 degrees. Interestingly, this is the exact orientation of the rise of Pleiades at different times within history. Why was this curious carving etched into the top of this mountainside within Bolivia? Was this ancient site once used as a launching pad? Furthermore, intriguingly, much of the surrounding stone seems to have experienced ancient quarrying. Is this ancient mountain the site of an ancient quarry, once done by a group who had flying vimanas at their disposal? An incredible sight, which we find highly compelling.
Throughout the ages, countless reports of unexplained and baffling discoveries have been reportedly made deep within the mines of Earth. Regardless of the type of mine, or indeed its depth, it seems that these peculiar stories continue to surface, and usually only by word of mouth. Often, attached to these fascinating tales, you will find stories of these artifacts being seized, destroyed, or simply reburied. We are often confronted with an apparent cover-up, vast resources and manpower being harnessed to hide these facts from the world. The motives for choosing to conceal such artifacts from the world could indeed be endless, though regardless of motive, we feel it is imperative that we continue to expose these stories to the earth if we have compelling witnesses and unmistakable evidence of a cover-up. Deep beneath the city of Donetsk, within the Rostov region of Russia, a large foundation of sandstone can be found, something known as rock shield of Carboniferous age. It is about 300 to 360 million years old and is lined with distributions of coking coals that are also of around the same age. Astonishingly, Mr. Kasatskin has discovered, upon the roof of this shaft of coal, an imprint of a chariot wheel, an imprint undoubtedly made before the rock had formed around it. He also discovered another imprint, a small distance further along the shaft. It must be noted that these imprints have remained buried deep within these seams of rock for many millions of years. If a scientific analysis could have been undertaken upon this artifact, it could have shaken our understandings of world history, just like so many other artifacts we have been made aware of, all but a few now stolen from the public domain. Upon realizing the implications of his discovery, Mr. Kasatskin, an extremely experienced foreman in ventilation and safety engineering, specializing in seismic prognosis, thankfully took several photographs of his miraculous and now concealed discovery before officially reporting it and requesting a scientific evaluation. When his boss notified the owners of the mine in the hopes of getting an analysis of the artifact with an attempt to preserve it, to his boss's surprise, they demanded he continued the work through the shaft so that it could be subsequently flooded, which is unfortunately what has occurred, making further exploration of the sites impossible. He stated that he's investigated further regarding the Western Mine's history with the fellow miners there, and was able to confirm the existence of the other print within that mine. It had been damaged by blast hole driving and was little mentioned, though it was indeed there. He was sometimes in this cut, he said, and got to take a good look at it. He says that he was surprised, but also somewhat afraid to admit that these objects are of artificial origin. We, on the other hand, are excited by such a premise, and will keep you posted on any further developments regarding the mine.
I have long exposed many of the fallacies built upon nothing but sheer assumption, which have slowly grown and somehow become apparent fact, which surround the Great Pyramids. Claimed as tombs, although there no evidence of this ever found. Claimed as the work of pharaohs, yet having no evidence described or depicted anywhere throughout the masses of papyrus or hieroglyphs ever located. Claimed as having been built by slaves with copper tools and chisels regardless of the demonstrated fact, this a near impossibility. Built a mere 4,000 years ago, yet having no evidence of this construction. Having no explanation for their construction, and having even less knowledge about what is still hidden within, yet claimed as Egyptian ruins, regardless of the entire complex's immense erosion, geologically disagreeing with this conclusion. This tale continues to be conveyed as truth. My question is thus, what exactly are they hiding via this obvious denial of the facts? Throughout the ancient world, this ability to cut, work, shape, and place simply enormous megaliths is clearly demonstrated. Yet we are again led to believe that this placement and ability to cut and move stones upwards of 1,000 tons and somehow setting them aloft, even manipulating them into mortarless, earthquake-proof, polygonal walls is all a mere coincidence. With these apparently different and separated tribes academically explained as having been completely isolated by the oceans, they nonetheless somehow arriving at the same solutions, achieving the same seemingly impossible feats. These ingenious building methods and technological advancements apparently all coming about at the same time by chance. Not to mention the accompanying presence of impossible polygonal stonework even upon one of the pyramids themselves. If one needed even more proof that those who created these structures had access to advanced stone cutting technology, even possibly laser precision cutting instruments, similar or perhaps even superior to today's, one only have to look at the sheer accomplishment of the once hermetically sealed star shafts, which each pierce through nearly every stone of this massive structure. Or perhaps the smorgasbord of exhibited miscuts on many of the reused solid basalt blocks, which were once hidden beneath the perfectly finished surface, yet now found in abundance amongst the disturbed basalt floor. Once the flat foundational walkways of the entire complex, these many clearly machine-cut tool marks also predictably avoided in the many funded attempts to explain these structures. Yet they are clear proof of the presence of high-powered machines during the pyramid's construction. If one were to go by the evidence, and the evidence alone, ignoring the many academically made claims regarding their true age, one is presented with heavy rainfall and water erosion, not only upon the Sphinx, but large deposits of sea salt quietly removed over the decades from the pyramid's lower chambers, with water damage also present going halfway up Cheops itself, and indeed the other two, all clearly demonstrating an actual true age nearer to, or possibly over 10 millennia, And once one takes into account that many others, even some of greater stature, have now been revealed to the world and subsequently began to be explored all over the planet, this further supports the hypothesis that they, instead of separate civilizations, all the work of the same lost, yet once highly advanced global civilization, one who had access to not only machines, but possibly even motorized vehicles, as the evidence found in Turkey could suggest, to accomplish such a feat. I feel the reality that such awe-inspiring structures can be located worldwide, not to mention polygonal masonry and the countless unexplainable tool marks I have exposed here upon our channel. All the work of primitive ancestors with nothing more advanced than copper tools. Clearly a complete fallacy, yet one that is held up with such enormous funding, it very difficult to expose as such. Yet the evidence is there, if one wishes to see it. What these structures were once used for, however, is another mystery entirely, one which continues to baffle all who attempt to explain them, especially if one goes by the official timeline and the academically claimed abilities of its purported builders. Yet the fact that they put such tremendous effort into building them, with such accuracy and seemingly chosen geographic and cardinal precision, not to mention the strange yet gigantic anomaly which has possibly been discovered beneath Khafre. Their builders' true knowledge and indeed capabilities may be the very reason this truth continues to be suppressed. Perhaps they form a grid. Perhaps they can communicate with the stars. Perhaps they nothing more than stone monuments. Yet alas, until the assumptions peddled as fact surrounding their true origins are quashed, this true original purpose, and most crucially, their original true creators, may continue to evade us all. It is a mystery which I continue to find highly compelling. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to support my controversial research here upon YouTube. Thank you. There are countless ancient mysteries still waiting to be unraveled all over our planet. Discoveries to be unlocked, secrets to be revealed. Yet undoubtedly, the jewel within the crown of these earthly ancient enigmas has to be that of the Great Pyramids of Egypt, or indeed the entire Giza Plateau. What is hiding within these gigantic, perfectly constructed structures? What is laying beneath this long-claimed man-made plateau? One once cast in solid sandstone with its many, yet-to-be-explored caverns, cavities, and even stairways, all once effortlessly cut through and into the underbelly of this enormous ancient mass. Although countless scans of the plateau have been made with in-depth exploratory work done upon Cheops in particular, the largest of the three pyramids and the only one so far known to have existing inner chambers, with these indeed producing some compelling results, what still lay deep within its bowels, one laced with hermetically sealed shafts, secret passages, and enormous galleries, however, remains an impenetrable mystery. Yet could there lay within a mystery, perhaps even an entranceway into a secret chamber which has long sat out in the open? One which those in the know, in particular a certain individual who has long been bestowed with the responsibility of running Egyptians' ancient antiquities, and I have long claimed also responsible for upholding certain current paradigms, whom would rather, like that of whatever was found beyond the infamous Gantenbrick's door, prefer I not have stumbled upon. Well, one such enigma can indeed be found, hidden in plain sight, and it's just waiting for someone not funded by particular academic circles to explore and to expose once and for all what's hidden within. Hiding within the king's chamber, a chamber although claimed to be a mere 4,000 years old, proven within such places as the Grand Gallery, with its slab work and megalithic placement, so precise, constructed with such accuracy as to have once appeared finished like that of flat glass. However, within and amongst these seemingly laser-cut, yet randomly sized 20 rectangular slabs which made up the floor space of the king's chamber itself, is revealed to have had two, in fact, long removed. Although Khufu's sarcophagus has been shown to have been too small for his mummy, and with no mummies or any burial artifacts ever found within the pyramid itself, these missing slabs within this long-claimed tomb have since been suspiciously and quietly covered in with cement. However, the plot thickens once one realizes that within the original photography and indeed initial explorations of this mysterious room, the missing slabs are clearly apparent, with the gaping holes within the chamber's floor clearly visible. These holes indicative of entranceways possibly into multiple hidden chambers, yet these would quickly be covered by wooden planks, later metal grates, until rather recently they were quietly cemented over, clearly in an attempt to erase all evidence of this ancient, out-of-place anomaly. What is hidden within the floor of the king's chamber? What was originally within what has long been claimed as Khufu's tomb? I feel that with recent developments beneath Khufu, and indeed the clear lack of any evidence to not only suggest that these massive structures were once tombs, but that they were even built by the ancient Egyptians a mere few thousand years ago, it would seem to me that the truth of what these structures once were. Along with the recent expose I shared of the enormous pyramid which once sat proudly within Salt Lake City, one once constructed of solid copper blocks, the true purpose and indeed possible function of these mysterious buildings, now identified and located worldwide, could be far more profound, and one I feel we get ever closer to discovering with each passing day. What is beneath the king's chamber? What were the great pyramids used for? It is a mystery which I continue to find highly compelling.